and welcome to this week's LOLC Securities Weekly Market Roundup. I'm Tariff.
And I am Megara Vijayamana. This is the sound of profitability. Sri Lanka and Bhutan continue to strengthen the diplomatic and cultural ties between the two nations, reaffirming the strong commitment for regional cooperation in 2025. With relations rooted in shared Buddhist values, the two nations have expanded collaboration over the decades since establishing formal diplomatic ties in 1987. The April 2025 BIMSTEC summit in Bangkok offered an opportunity for leaders of both countries, that is Prime Minister Shering Tobgay and Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, to reaffirm these bonds.
Sri Lanka's Cabinet of Ministers has decided to hand over the contract to supply 5 shipments of diesel from the 1st of June to 30th November to Singapore's Trafigura Pte Limited. Bids were invited from registered suppliers of Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and 7 bidders submitted bids. After evaluating the bids, the Cabinet approved the proposal to award the procurement to Singapore's MS Trafigura Pte Limited as recommended by its procurement committee. Trafigura Group Pte Limited is a Singaporean-based multinational commodities company with major regional hubs in Geneva, Houston, Montevideo and Mumbai. According to Minister Nalinda Jayatissa, Sri Lanka will develop its scenic coastal drive of Colombo from Kolpiti to Mount Ravenna under the Marine Knights Awakening Colombo project. The project is aimed at enhancing the local economy, boosting the tourism industry and enhancing the tourist experience in Colombo city through increased nighttime tourism activities. Sri Lanka Tourism Promotions Bureau will launch this initiative under the city branding project to promote tourism in Sri Lanka's commercial capital Colombo. Sri Lanka plans on attracting 3 million tourists in 2025 but has no night economy or nightlife, which officials have pointed out.
Visiting Minister of Commerce of China met with President Anurakumara Dissanayake, and the Beijing delegation promised support to the island nation amid global economic instability. Minister Wang is leading a 115 Chinese delegation from 77 companies to explore investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. The President's media division said that the minister stated there has been a notable rise in interest from Chinese investors looking to invest in the country. Further, one of the key objectives of Minister Wang's visit is to follow up on the agreements reached during President Disanayake's recent January visit to China.
Time for the corporate highlights of the week.
Sri Lanka's Ambeon Capital is investing 600 million rupees for a mineral sand project in the eastern province of Sri Lanka. This is together with Capital Metals plc, a company incorporated in the United Kingdom. The company will acquire a 14.1% stake in Capital Metals plc, the London-listed firm promoting the project, in exchange for its investment. The investment will be made through Redgate Lanka Pvt Limited, the local subsidiary of Capital Metals, which holds the necessary exploration and industrial mining licenses. Ambeon's stake will be issued as 59.7 million ordinary shares in Capital Metals and will be listed on the London Stock Exchange.
Ceylon Steel Corporation marked its entry to the banking sector by acquiring 9.99% of Hatton National Bank. This acquisition was done from the stake of Browns Investments plc. The negotiated deal involved the transfer of 45,317,177 voting shares at Rs 305 per share, generating a turnover of Rs 13.82 billion. The transaction marks one of the largest deals on the Colombo Stock Exchange in recent times. Capital Alliance Securities Private Limited acted as the broker for the buyer, Ceylon Steel Corporation, and facilitated 60% of the trade on behalf of the seller, Browns Investments plc.
And here is Tharindu with the ESG update.
the ESG sector, the European Union has eased its carbon tariffs, which affects more than 90% of the importers in a positive way. It said, however, the scheme would not lose its impact as the remaining 10% of the importers are responsible for more than 99% of the emissions associated with imports covered by the carbon border tariff. The Commission proposed the changes in February to replace the existing rules under which all individuals or companies importing CBAM-covered goods with a value of €150 would have to pay the levy from next year. Companies will have to buy permits to cover the carbon emissions of importing products including steel, cement, aluminium and fertilizers starting from the year 2026. The changes also include deferring until 2027 the launch dates for sales of those permits. And now it's time for the international highlight with Megara.
A US federal court last week ruled against President Donald Trump's authority to implement his tariffs. This might also be a big blow against the president's entire economic agenda. Trump's core economic policy has been his historic tariffs, but the administration has described its aggressive trade actions as just one leg of a three-legged stool. Built on tariffs, spending cuts, and tax cuts, Trump's economic agenda relies on all three components to stand strong. But a three-judge panel at the US Court of International Trade blocked Trump's global tariffs, which he imposed citing emergency economic powers. Those trade actions include the Liberation Day tariffs, 10% universal tariffs, and the tariffs aimed at preventing fentanyl from entering the United States. There is no sense that the court ruling will lead the administration to change course. Between appeals and alternatives, Trump will probably double down on his trade efforts, according to allies inside and outside the White House.
And that's it for this week's LOLC Securities Weekly Market Roundup. As always, no matter what investment decision you make it with the right intel. We will see you in a brand new week.